And we're live.
All right. All right. Welcome to another edition of the Big Brother Online Game Season 7 Eviction Chat. And joining us this week is Max. Max, thanks for joining us this week. Hello?
Maxwell?
Hello? I don't know what just happened. He just cut out a lot for me. I'm obviously having issues.
This is why you
Was that
can't win
like
a
my
competition.
introduction? Look,
Yes.
no, I'm not Evil Reggie. Don't pin that on me. So was that my introduction?
Yes.
Okay, hello everyone. The robbed goddess is here for your
So
viewing
Max,
pleasure.
all right. So it was double eviction week, and
Mm-hmm.
Drew, I think was he was HOH.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what's going through your head?
What's going through my head?
Yeah.
That Drew's an idiot. That he should have. Well, I don't want to be that mean, because Drew was my closest ally, and that was like the one thing we feared the whole time was that one of us would win HOH, and then one of us would leave because of the stupid roulette wheel. Thank you, Antion, or
You're welcome.
Antoine, whatever. Um, but what should have happened was Dave should have left, and all of us would still be there at this moment.
Okay, let's talk about
Uh,
that. So you're on the block, the roulette wheel, and there's still veto. Had you had like any plans before the veto of what was supposed to happen?
Drew had the idea. He told us, I want to backdoor either Jen or I want to backdoor Dave, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like Jen or Dave, and for some reason he just had this very he was very adamant about getting out Jen, even though Jen wasn't coming after him, but he just had this paranoia that she would nominate Drain, even though she told every single person in that game who she was nominating, and that was Dave and Cisco. But I mean,
Did you
whatever.
try to tell him that?
Yeah, I told him that I wasn't comfortable with Jen going up because I knew that she and Allie were both votes for me to stay,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean Dave wouldn't have been, because at that point we had already lost trust in each other because of the vote with Deshaun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I knew that Mimi also knew that. Mimi tried to tell him as well, but he had already his whole, like, he's kind of like Vanessa, really. That week he was like, he wanted a reason to nominate, and I was like, just put him up. Like, you don't need a reason. Like, he trusted Cisco too much. He thought that Cisco trusted him more than he did, and he
Mm-hmm.
thought that if he got rid of Dave, then he would lose that tie with Cisco, but that tie was broken a long
Mm-hmm.
time ago.
So would you blame your eviction basically on Drew's ego and his
Yes.
confidence that he was running everything?
Not ego. I mean, I guess so. It was more his paranoia that Jen would put him up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes,
So
I
if
put him in
Mimi
on
had
Drew's.
these plans, you were in the alliance being called the Pretty Committee with Kelly,
Yeah.
Drew, and Lane. If Mimi had the same concerns you did, why not just have Mimi not use the veto on Eddie?
Um, because nobody would have voted out Eddie or Allie over me, and I knew that would have probably been this. It would have been the same result. Um, I mean, she could have used a veto on me, but I knew that she wouldn't have wanted to, because she's all about logical reasoning, and why would she want to use the veto on me and have another person randomly go up?
Mm-hmm.
And if the nominees stayed the same, it would have been me, because Jen would not have. It probably could have been Eddie, because Jen trusted me, and Allie, and we probably could have made her vote out Eddie, and all of us could have, and that maybe that would have happened. But I just know that if Dave would have went up, then that would have been two confirmed votes for us, being
Hmm.
Jen and Allie, and then of course, we had Lane, Mimi, and Kelly voting out Dave.
Hmm. So you were expecting to get evicted?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I tried my hardest to get Najee and Eddie on my side, and but of course, Jen got to them, and that was what I knew would happen.
Hmm.
Alright.
Courtney, Cody.
Uh, I guess like you talked about how you were in an alliance with both Lane, Drew, Kelly, and I think Mimi. What was Cisco and Dave also part of that alliance, or was they just on the
Um,
outside?
Cisco and Dave, Drew, Lane, and I were kind of like a triplet, and a trio, not a triplet. What am I saying? Um, we kind of were like a really tight trio, and we tried to get alliances with a lot of people. We tried to get trust with a lot of people, so just us three would be good the whole game. And we had formed an alliance with Dave and Cisco called Las Plasticas,
Mhm.
which, yeah,
Plastics. Mhm.
yeah. And we basically did that because they were easy to get along with at the time, and we knew that we needed people on the outside of the pretty committee um, to trust and for them to trust us and to keep us safe, basically,
Hmm.
and to get like targets in their head so that they wouldn't come after me or Kelly either.
Hmm.
But I mean, do you think that like that made you a target? I mean, since you, I guess, were the one like a victim. I mean, do you think that they were trying to work you, Drew, and Lane, or
What do you mean?
like I mean, like since you like were forming all these alliances, I mean, do you think that they finally caught on to
Oh,
what
okay.
you were doing?
I think my whole idea was I would be looked at as kind of the floater, the under the radar follower of Drain, and I was using Drew more as like the meat shield because that was the smartest thing to do because he was putting a target on himself by being so vocal and so rude to people. I mean, I agree with everything he said, so I couldn't say it was rude, but it just put a target on his back.
Hmm.
Did you ever try distancing yourself away from Drew for that reason? Because
Um,
I know
I tried.
preseason. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, I keep saying. No, you go. Finish
I
your
know
because.
preseason that Drew and Ryan had gotten into something
Mhm.
last season, and they came into the game this season. And obviously, people know you and Drew are close, so like things like that. Did you try to like distance yourself from him and be like, "Look, those are
No,
his shots."
I never tried to distance myself from Drew, and really the Ryan thing. Like I had fought with Ryan during that whole ordeal, and that's why he put me up.
Hmm.
Really, the first week.
Yes, let's go back to what you said because it was in response to Ryan's tweet where he said, I'm so sick of entitled pricks who think the world owes them something. Fuck off. You're just like everyone else. That was to Drew, and that was during season 6. And you replied, Belinda
Yeah.
Jenner, referring to what was supposed to be Kate, what are you doing? Just stop, hun. You're trying to fight a battle you can't win. And that Belinda Jenner comment
Ah,
ended up getting you put up week 1. Do you regret that? Do you still feel that way?
no, I don't regret that. I don't regret that. I stayed either way. I mean, I don't. Ryan is an ugly person visually and inside. Um, he did what he did, and I stayed. So I mean,
Mhm.
and I said what I said. So
Okay,
I'm not.
let's
I don't
delve
take that
deeper
back.
into your comments. He tried to call you transphobic, and your response was not transphobic, just still trying to figure out what you're transitioning to. Do you think you crossed the line anywhere?
No, I don't cross. I didn't. I don't think I crossed the line. I embrace what I say. I don't. I don't care. This is Twitter.
I'm
If he
getting
wants to be
this.
sensitive about that.
I'm getting this Julie Chen, Aaron Grease feel from this
I don't
interview.
remember saying those things.
Well, we have screenshots if you need to see that after your interview.
Uh,
So I mean, week one, whenever
You know,
Ronnie
people in
nominated.
Texas, you go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, week one, whenever you were nominated against Neville, and then with Alicia being the roulette choice, I mean, you basically felt safe the whole entire week. There was no question in your mind that you were gonna be sent home week one.
I mean, of course there was a question. There was a question when I was put up, but then when Drew was put up, there was no question that I was safe.
Mhm.
Because after that whole, like, Drew call, like, yelling at Ryan, I was like, okay, I'm good this week. Because my alliance was targeting Alicia, of course, and we could get other people to do the same, because it was week one. I mean, and of course there were people targeting Drew because that was Ryan's new target. So I knew that I was good that week
mhm.
after the fact
Okay.
of
Let's
veto.
talk about your gameplay because where were your HOHs, Kristen? Where were the wins? Because each and every day in
Don't
your
try to use that.
DR, you were like, I'm gonna win a competition. I'm gonna win. Where was it? Were you throwing them? Did you try?
Um,
What would you have done if you actually
it was.
won?
I was annoyed the entire season because I felt like every single competition I was in, there was something that was keeping me from winning. I just had the worst luck this game, and that's just what happened. I mean, the first competition, like the first 2 weeks, including the first veto, I was in Chicago, so I only had my phone and a poor Wi-Fi to work off of. So like while I'm typing these things and like walking around, like walking upstairs, getting back to the apartment, like there was like already a winner while I'm trying to type my answer, and that worked out how it did. And I was just at that point I was like, okay, I'll be home. I mean, this won't keep happening, and I did. I believe that I would have won something by then, but of course on the plane home, you do a luck competition, so I'm like, well, that's out of my control.
Hmm.
Right.
Well, I would have won that if you wouldn't, but let's not get into that. Maybe we should, but after the fact. Um, and then the next competition, what was the next one after that? It was week 4.
You
That
had
was the
the
faving competition. I
mhm.
almost won that. I was very close, but I stumbled on the very last, oh, not the very last, I
Second to
stumbled on that
last.
one because I was trying to find it wouldn't let me click. I was trying to save it, and I couldn't do
Hmm.
it, and I was slower than I wanted to be. Um, it was just bad luck. It was bad luck for me the whole time, and even that veto that if I would have won, I would still be here. The backstabbers one. I had scrolled down for a second, and I thought I saw it at the colored knife at the very top. So I scrolled back up, and of course it wasn't there. So I was just going crazy and scrolling all the way down to the bottom, and it was there, but I
You lost by
was
like a
too
matter
slow.
of seconds.
A second.
Yeah, a second, if not even
Hmm.
less. What? Why didn't I ask Mimi to throw that one? I mean, she didn't necessarily
Um,
have to win.
because I kind of Drew wanted what he wanted that week, and that was for one of us to win veto so he could go through with his backdoor plan. Not one of us, like one of them, not including me, because of course, I would have that he wouldn't have had control over that nomination.
Hmm.
But I was thinking for myself, like I had eliminated Kelly before Najee, just because like Kelly won the round before that,
Hmm.
so I was like, okay, she has to go. Um, Yeah, that competition was solely for me. Like how I competed, I was playing for myself at that point,
Right.
Mhm.
even though I knew my line still had my back, but I was just trying to save myself.
Okay. Had you have stayed past like into the double eviction, what would have been your strategy going forward? Like, what were your plans like to get to the end, and do you think you could have won with the game that you were playing?
Um, my plan was to win the double eviction HOH because I knew I could, and that I knew I could. Because when I watched the video over, I was answering those questions correctly without using my notes. And when I practiced like counting those keys, I counted them in enough time that I could have answered the question correctly. So, I mean, whatever. But my plan from there on was just to get out Dave and Cisco and continue just steamrolling along without. Well, Drew probably he would have still been there, so we would have just kept like steamrolling along with our five-person alliance, making it to the end. And I eventually would have cut off both Drew and Lane, because I wouldn't. I thought about it a lot, and I wouldn't have wanted either of them making the final three,
Mm-hmm.
because
They would take each other.
then I would have to take, if I actually won that HOH, I would have had to take one of them, and that would have been a loss of a vote for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I didn't want either of them with me in the final two. And I thought that I could have elaborated my game a little bit to the point where I could have won. I mean, Amanda Biscuit won Season 8 of RBB. Like, let's be serious. Anybody could win.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So you got into like a feud with Ryan. We know. Also, some words were exchanged with Cisco and Dave. Would you consider that just like game, or is that personal? Do you plan on being
I
friends with
don't
them
like
after?
them at all. I don't like them. I didn't like them during the season either, but I was just trying to be friendly so it wouldn't
Well,
hurt my game.
what rubbed you the wrong way about the two of them,
They
like
were
Cisco
just
and Dave?
very annoying people. Like, everything that came out of their mouth was like slay. And of course Cisco's a Demi fan, so that's not ever good. I don't know, they were just very annoying people, and I never trusted Dave. Never. I never did. And I knew that I couldn't trust him when I heard that he was trying to get the votes for Ryan to stay when Ryan was evicted. So at that point, like, that was when I realized, okay, when I went the next time, when I ever win HOH, I'm putting them both up.
Do you discuss
But
these things with Drew? Because he won back-to-back HOHs that he was eligible to compete in. Am I right?
Yeah, he went on like a 5 comp winning streak, like each comp that he played.
So how
mhm.
come never during those periods did you like tell him like we need you
Of
here? We
course,
don't.
I talked to him about them, and he knew how I felt about Dave and Cisco, but he was playing his own game, and I knew that he was, and I wasn't mad at him for that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's his own game. And I knew at those moments, like, it wasn't time for either Dave or Cisco to go, except for when Dave should have went when I went. I knew that that was the time for that to happen, but he
So
had his own agenda.
during during the double eviction is when you're saying that, like right after you, it should have been Dave that went after.
Yeah, but I mean, Lane lost, so
Mm-hmm.
that didn't happen, of course. Lane almost won that HOH, and it would have been one of them, but I mean, what happened happened. Both Drew and I are gone, and yeah.
Now that you're out of the house, who do you think has the best chance of going all the way and winning?
Um, I want to have faith in Lane that he can do it, but I know that he's gonna be out at some point, and I don't think he'll make it. Really, I think Kelly has the best chance of making it and winning, because I know that Kelly is playing a very good game socially. She's good with both sides of the house. She's trying to be good with Dave and Cisco, and she's still trying to hide the pretty committee if it's still hidden, and if it is, then that's crazy. But yeah, I'm rooting for the pretty committee, of course, but I think Kelly has the best shot.
Hmm.
Is there anyone you regret working with or regret not working with? You can answer both of those.
I can
Yeah,
answer
no, is
those?
it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I regret working with Dave for as long as I did.
Mhm.
Um, no, I don't. Not really, because it kept me safe. Because they obviously went on a winning streak. Cisco did. So, um, I don't really regret working with anyone. I regret not working and talking more with um, Najee and Eddie both,
Mhm.
because I feel like I related a lot to Najee because Najee doesn't really care a lot about the games, and he's
Mhm.
more about like just live your life, and I like that quality about him, and he's a really relatable person. I wish I talked to him more, but I mean, what happened happened, and I didn't get to, of course. Um, Eddie would have just been like a good person to have on the side, like Allie was. They're
Mhm.
both kind of just like pillows that they're good for votes. But
I forgot my question. Oh my god, what was the question I was going to ask? Oh my god. Oh my god.
I guess my
Someone
final
else.
question for you, Max, is given the opportunity, would you come back and play again, and would you do anything differently the next time around that you didn't do this time around?
um, I would not come back to play again. I am not playing any more games because I have college to look forward to, and I'm not going to be doing this in college because then I've been doing this for 2 years and I can't keep doing it. It'll be ridiculous by that point. But if I did come back, I would not, um, I would hope that, I would want to play with Drew because he gets things done, he gets relationships formed, and that's great. I have a tough time doing that, and he knows that. Um, but of course, what I would do differently is win competitions. I would be home and not be busy constantly. Because really, you can't be busy constantly doing these games if you want to succeed.
Mhm.
Right.
And of course, I would try to be more social and less fake with people because just looking back at conversations I had with Najee, I could tell I was saying the wrong things all the time because I was being fake to him and he could see
Right.
right through it, and I knew.
So, I mean,
But
do you hope to build a relationship with him out of the house or no?
I mean, we already had kind of a friendship, but I mean, it'll probably stay the same like it always was. I mean, just him being in a Google Hangout, making everyone laugh, and I mean, I don't see that relationship changing, getting worse or getting better. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all. Thank you, Max, for playing
Yep.
and doing this
Thank you.
interview with us.
thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Max.
inviting me back after expelling me before the game had its redo, its makeover.
You've made it through a season finally.
hmm
So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Max.
All
Thank
right,
you.
taking us off air. Thanks everyone for watching.